Hello everyone. Today we're going to make buttons and then we'll make a link to the web pages. So this is what we're gonna have. So we're going to make two different buttons, one for the Google link, one for the YouTube link. So let me test the movie. So this is the animated rollable buttons, Google's and the YouTube. And then when I click on it, Google, it opens their Google's homepage on a new tab. When I click on the YouTube button, it opens YouTube on the current page. And then I can just go back. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let's create a new Animate CC document. 640 by 480 pixel dimension, 24 frame rate, and HTML5 canvas. So not gonna change anything. Create. Okay. Maybe 75%. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to make the first button, the Google button, in the library panel. Let's create a new symbol. Name will be Google, and then type is a button symbol because we're making a button. Okay. So first, now you can see that I'm in the Google's button symbols editing window. So there are only 4 frames: up, over, down, and hit. I will explain about the hit frame today. So let me type the word Google, and then I will change the color. That's a Google's color. So blue G is blue G, and then O supposed to be red, and second O supposed to be yellow, and this is a blue G, and L is supposed to be green, maybe this green, and the E is another red. So Google. I'm going to rename it, name this layer as a text layer. So let me double click and text so I can tell this is a text layer. And let me create, before I create another layer, I will extend it up to down frame for now. So up, over, down, it's the same. And let me create a new layer on top, and this layer will have an arrowhead, so let me rename it as arrow. Okay, on up frame, I'm going to draw by using the pen tool, kind of a triangle, just like that. Let me zoom in. I want to edit it a little bit. Let me choose the sub selection tool so I can edit point by point. Maybe on something like this. It should be okay. And I'm going to fill it in the same blue. Same blue, paint bucket, fill. And I don't want to keep the outline. Okay. So Google. Okay. So the plan is when I roll over on up frame and then on the over frame, I want to animate this arrowhead. It's kind of moving to the right and then maybe fading out. But I want to make some changes a little bit. Move it down. Okay, it looks better. Okay, now select your triangle on up frame. Oops, selection tool. Command C or Control C on PC. So copy and then create in the library a new movie clip symbol for the animation, and I'm going to rename it as arrow. Okay, and paste in place, so which is here. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to animate it. It's very kind of a simple animation, moving to the right very slightly and disappearing, and it will be kind of a looping. So first thing is in the properties panel, I'm going to change the frame rate temporarily. So go to document and change the frame rate down to 10 just for now. Okay, and then go to insert menu, create classic tween, and insert a keyframe. And on frame number 10, move this arrowhead to the right just a little bit, not too much, maybe about this, and still your arrowhead is selected. And in the properties panel, color effects, and choose the alpha and change the alpha value down to 0. So that means this arrow's kind of fading out. Okay, now in the document panel, I'm going to change my frame rate back to 24, the original frame rate. Okay, now go back to the library, open Google's buttons. Okay, and then on arrowhead layer we have this, and on overframe, insert timeline a blank keyframe. Okay, blank keyframe. Then from the library, place the arrowhead, the animation we just made, onto this overframe. Okay, and then if you compare this, see they're slightly different. So what I'm gonna do, we just need to match it the location, the same position. So let me zoom in a little bit, and then let me turn on this onion skin. So now you can tell which one is which. So I'm going to move this up and down by using my arrow button from my keyboard, and they are perfectly matched. Let me turn this off. Up and over, up and over. Slightly different. Let me move it up one click. It looks okay. Okay, so let me go back to main scene, and let me drop my Google button, my first one. Okay, let me test it. Command return, or you can go to the control menu and test movie in browser. It is working. The problem is when I move my mouse cursor on text, see, it is working when I roll over on the text directed precisely, but when I place my mouse cursor between the letter, it doesn't work. So that's why we need to define the hit frame. So let me go back to Google's button, timeline. So there's nothing on hit frame. So on my either text layer or arrow layer, doesn't matter. Let me choose my text layer. Let me insert the another keyframe, and then this another one up on the arrow layer. Whatever you have on this the hit frame is invisible, but it will define where to click. So what I'm gonna do is on either layer, doesn't matter, let me draw one rectangle big enough to cover the whole thing. The color really doesn't matter. Anyway, it is invisible. So this means when I move my mouse cursor over, any spot or any area of this rectangle will be clickable. So let's try it. Test the movie. Now it is working anywhere. See? Okay, so Google's button is done. So now let's make a YouTube link button. So go to library and make a new symbol by clicking this new symbol button button on the bottom of your library. Let me name it as YouTube, and the type is a button. Okay, and same way I'm going to type the word YouTube first. Maybe I'm in black. Okay. That's okay. YouTube. So let me rename this layer as a text layer. Text. And I'm gonna keep it up to hit frame. Insert keyframe. Now let's make a new layer on top. This layer will be named as a dot because I want to have the one red play button, the simple one. So I'm going to have red fill and the same red stroke. And let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, and let me draw a circle right next to it, about the same height, the same size. So it has a two-part fill and the stroke. Okay, it looks okay. I'm going to draw one triangle play button inside, just like that, and fill it in white. And with sub selection tool, I'm going to make it a little bit better, a little lower, a little smaller. It's okay. And then I'm going to move around, hold down the shift key, let me select all these points. Okay, so it looks okay. Now switch your tool to selection tool and delete this, that, this, and the fill as well, so we can just punch the triangle hole. So YouTube, it's okay. Now the plan is, when I move my mouse cursor over on this YouTube text and the symbol, and I want to have kind of really simple animation on this red button. So let me select, let me lock this layer, bottom one. Let me select the red play button, copy, Command C or Control C, and go to library panel, and now open, create a new movie clip symbol, and then I will be named as a dot, and then type is movie clip. Okay, so I have this. So on this frame, paste it in place, just this play button. And then there's another thing I need to do. Let me zoom in. As you can see that there are two parts on this, the red button, stroke and the fill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select just a stroke only, the outline, Command X, cut, or Control X on PC. So it's gone. And make a new layer on top, and then edit, paste in place. So it looks the same, exactly the same looking, but let me rename the bottom layer as a fill. Let me rename the top layer as a stroke. Okay, so two different parts. And the reason is I'm going to animate just the outline only. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and disappearing. So that's the plan. So first, like we did, go back to Properties panel, change your frame rate down to 10, just for now, and then keep your fill, that's the red fill button things, from 1 to 10. Just insert a keyframe, it's fine. And then on the top one, highlight the first keyframe on your top one, which is a stroke, the outline. Go to Insert menu and create Classic Twin. And insert the keyframe. Then on frame number 10, let me zoom out a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my free transform tool. Let me make it bigger. Maybe about this size. So this is happening. And then on frame number 10, let me choose my selection tool, click on my the big stroke on frame number 10, and let me change the alpha value down to 0. So what happened is fading out and getting bigger, fading out and getting bigger. So this will happen when we roll over. So now go back to YouTube button symbol, and on overframe, highlight the over, insert timeline and blank keyframe on this overframe. Now I'm going to drop this dot movie clip symbol right here to align on the same line, same position. Turn on the onion skin, and by using your arrow key on your keyboard, move it, just line up. And turn off this. Okay, and then on hit frame, like we did for the Google's button, just cover everything with the any shape like this. So that means on this the rectangular area, that any spot is going to be clickable area. So let me go back to main scene. I'm going to have my YouTube button here. So I have two buttons now, Google and YouTube. And let's test the movie. Command return. Google's working, YouTube is working. I see that it's kind of a little bit slow because I didn't change my frame rate back to 24 yet. So see this. So frame rate back to 24. And test the movie again. Google and YouTube. Google and YouTube. Okay, so we have two buttons now. Now let's make a link to actual Google's homepage and YouTube homepage. So first the thing is, before we add some actions on these two buttons, select each one, and we need to assign instance name. So as I mentioned from my previous video, instance is the copy of a symbol. So as long as this stays in the library, we call that this is a symbol. But once you have it on your stage, your scene, it is called the instance. And then to add some function by using the action script, we need to, each one needs to have a name. So Google, we'll give an instance name as a Google. YouTube, YouTube. Now let's add the actions. So select the first one, the Google's button. Go to Windows menu, open Code Snippets. Since we're using the HTML5 canvas, click and choose the action. And there is a very first option, is called a click to go to web page. So double click. Now it will show you instance name Google here, and then function is, once we click, we want to go to the web page. This time let's go to google.com, and then this is a target. Underscore blank means the Google's homepage will be open in a new tab. So this is done. Let me close it. Close. And let's test the movie. Google, YouTube. When I click on Google, it links to the Google's homepage in a new tab. Now select the YouTube button, Window, Code Snippets, HTML5 canvas, action, click to go to web page. Now you can see that your instance's name, YouTube, we're making a link to youtube.com. Let me change the target. Instead of using blank, let me type the parent. That means YouTube page will be open on the current same web browser's window. So it will replace the current page. So let's see how it works. Test the movie. So Google, when I click on it, it opens a Google's page on the new tab. YouTube jumps to the YouTube page in the same browser's window. You can go back. So you can choose either Google or YouTube on blank page or the parent page. So the different targeting. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching and see you next time.